It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello!
Hi!
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for January 8th through 12th. All right, we just know that this is going to be a tough one, so bear with us. Share with us. We're all going to cry today. Yay! So we do have a few Port Charles pipelines from Vinny. Hi, ladies. I have to let you know, in my opinion, you both were right about Cyris. I feel like when the temporary writers came in during the strike, Cyris was set up to be evil and be the boss of the Gatlin gang. The Gatlin gang?
Gang. Okay.
Mason and Austin.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel that recently, and I don't feel like it was the Gatlins. I don't know. There still has to be more to that story, or let's just seriously get rid of, well, I guess they did. They killed Austin and got rid of Mason.
Yeah.
Okay. However, I feel that recently, since the writers came back, Cyrus's character went through a shift. I'm still very skeptical of Cyrus's character. With that said, Jeff Kober is such a great cerebral actor that I don't know whether he is truly redeemed or if he still has a connection to the underworld. I hear you. Because even with him pretending to be the pastor and listening to Nina's confession, he didn't really do anything underhanded with that information. But he did.
He did.
I'll even say he did.
Thank you.
Because he used it to coerce Nina into telling Sonny, and he was like, you know what I could do with this, right? So either you're going to tell him or I'm going to.
Yes.
Wouldn't it have been interesting to see what would have happened if Cyris had been the one to tell Sonny, because Sonny was already mad when Cyris let him know that he knew this information.
Cyris would be dead, so I'm glad that it wasn't Sonny that told him. Or it wasn't him that told Sonny.
But that's what I'm wondering. Or would Sonny have responded? No, he still would have responded the same?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm thinking he is redeemed and just facing the backlash and untrustworthiness that comes with a background of evil doing that he has.
No, sorry. You're also wrong, Vinny. I'm sorry. No, he's bad. He knows he's bad. He's continuing to be bad. Even without the Nina stuff. Bad, bad, bad. That's how it is.
Okie dokie. And then Nicole, hello, my ladies and friends. I hope everything is well with both of you and your families this past week.
Aw.
This past week, Adam has just acted weirder and weirder, and it's not sitting right with me. What are your girls' ideas, thoughts, or predictions on Adam? I feel like we'll talk about that.
Yep, that's
coming
what we
up
get into this week.
And that was it.
Okay.
So this upcoming Thursday, we are getting started on our 411 series about Bobbie Spencer that we have been putting off since May.
I think that it's good that we put it off.
I 100% think that it is. And I know we wanted to get started. Like, we were starting this week no matter what.
Yes.
But man, the timing on that.
It was perfect.
It was. So I don't know how we want to do this. Do we want to do everything outside of it and then?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Because I feel like that'd be really, really quick. Oh, Hulu headlines. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm already all out of sorts. On Monday, Carly and Elizabeth bond over Bobbie memories. Maxie and Felicia support each other over Bobbie's death. Jocelyn is furious with Michael. Tracy tells Brooklyn about Scott and Lucy's scheme. Lucy and Scott share a charged moment. On Tuesday, Alexis and Gregory discuss their kiss. Marshall and Stella clash. No, he yelled at her.
He did.
Trina confides in Stella. Sonny seeks out Carly. And Laura takes Esme to the PCPD. On Wednesday, the town of Port Charles mourns the loss of their beloved Bobbie Spencer. Felicia and Carly come together to honor Bobbie. Carly is forced to reckon with her family's past and close her mother's unfinished businesses. On Thursday, Carly and Felicia travel to Amsterdam to tend to the business Bobbie left. Maxie and a reporter sit down with the people of Port Charles to share their memories of Bobbie, and Carly dedicates a lovely tribute to her mother. And on Friday, Nikolas shares a moment with Ava. I'm obviously so excited about that. Spencer receives a surprise visitor. Curtis encourages Trina. Dex shows a brave side. And really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that was more of a coerced side.
Yeah.
Diane and Robert have a disagreement.
I don't feel like that was a disagreement. I feel like she put him in his place.
So,
yeah, I'm just
maybe Laura and Esme.
I was going to say,
I'm like, that's the only one that really doesn't go into.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a nap while you go over all that because it was filler stuff that I'm not even sure why they put in there. I did love the Laura and Esme stuff. She got her to go to the PCPD to turn herself in for breaking into Wyndemere, assuring her the whole time that everything would be fine, which Laura has been involved with the law in bad and good ways enough to know that you can't make promises to anyone.
And she's the mayor, so that's almost more reason for Esme to believe her that she's going to make sure nothing happens to me.
Yes.
And then
Ava walks in and is like, why am I here? If someone turned themselves in, can't you handle it? And they're like, well, we want you to see who it was and make a decision on if you're pressing charges. And she sees Esme and says exactly what you expected her to say, of even without talking to Nikolas about anything recently. But you hurt my Trina by making everyone think that she was a horrible person and posted that tape. And really it was you, and you didn't serve any time. So even if it's just a night, heck yeah, I want you in jail.
Yes.
Done. And then Esme
Laura was so surprised. I did feel for Esme because she was definitely under the impression that was not going to happen.
It was Laura's fault that she was surprised, though.
Yeah.
And then Laura goes out to Ava and is like, wait, are you sure? Like, I heard you even say give her, like, the lesser sentence, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I don't want her tossed in jail for the rest of her life. Like, I get it. But at the same time, heck yeah, she should pay for what she did.
Right. Like, if the sentence were to be something decades and decades, I don't think Ava would have done it. She'd been like, well, can we just do, like, a misdemeanor of trespassing or something, But no.
Yeah, to think that Ava was going to let her off scot-free, like, not happening.
She goes back to the gallery. Oh, by the way, we are now also tracking the gallery exhibits.
Oh, yeah.
Why have we not been tracking that?
Because we just want them all. We don't really track them. We're just like, I want them. It was.
So, yes. But so then she tells Nikolas that she had Esme charged. And he's like, I'm going to say goodbye now. There's nothing keeping me in Port Charles. It's too soon for me to talk to my mom or my son. And then he goes and sees Spencer. So we're going to have to deal with this next week.
Yep. Right. And Spencer is sitting there realizing, because Spencer went to visit Esme. She wasn't in prison at that point in time. But
I think he did a great job.
He did. That was great. So he's talking to her. He's like, why would you go there? What happened? You could have just asked, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't know. I just really felt like I needed to. And I wanted to see if I could get my memories back. And I couldn't remember anything. And you just don't understand. And he's like, what do you mean I don't understand? And she says, because I don't know exactly what she said, but it was basically like, you've been privileged your entire life. You have no idea what it's like, Spence. And he's like, oh, that's familiar.
Well, first he called her out on, how do you remember that? And she's like, just based on everything that you guys have told me.
Yeah.
But he did. Okay, so while she was freaking out over, I'm going to go away, he's like, you're a good mom.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to make sure that Ace still knows you. And like he was doing a great job of being reassuring. Like, I'm not just going to take him and run.
Right.
He's going to be here. He's going to visit you.
Mm-hmm. And you're not going to prison forever. Like, no matter what, it'll be a short period. It'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take care of him. He's comfortable at Grandma's house because that's where he's lived up until the last 2 weeks or so. It's fine.
Exactly. Well, and that's what, as Ava even said, she was like, Ace is going to be fine. You have Laura, you have Spencer, you know.
Yes.
And then he just keeps playing back. That was great.
It was.
That it was Spencer who is going to be the one that figures it out just from something small like that, because that's not something that I didn't like that when she told Ava. I don't like the fact that she's saying, I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
at least say some things are coming through fuzzy.
Right.
Because it does also seem that way. It doesn't
feeling.
seem like she knows. It seems like she is getting chunks and not the full thing. So it really kind of is, what am I remembering right now?
She could have even just said, like, I get a strange feeling when I'm, when I was putting up the Christmas tree, I got a strange feeling.
Right.
I thought maybe seeing the room I put a Christmas tree up in last year would bring back a memory. Something. But instead, she's just doing what her mama told her, deny, and she didn't do a good enough job because Spencer is on to her. But yeah, he's standing at the door, he's replaying everything after just visiting her, and then there's the knock at the door, and you're like, okay, is it going to be Trina saying she's not going to Paris? Is it going to be Esme saying, wait, listen, I have more to explain, and I got out of prison or whatever? And instead it's Nikolas, and they just like stand there and look at each other. So I wasn't impressed. They better do a whole lot with it next week.
Going to have to fight his dad for Ace, because is Nikolas going there to get Ace? Because that's the kind of guy that Nikolas is now.
Right. He'd be like, he's my kid. Esme's in prison. Give me my baby. I'm leaving.
Right. So then we're going to have to do the Michael thing where Spencer's going to have to go to court, fight for custody of his brother, like Michael did with custody of Avery.
Yep.
I wish that he just left. I'm sorry. I
understand that, but they need this so that they can do the DNA test to prove that it's not really Nikolas's
or Spencer's.
Exactly.
I'm all in favor
I'm fine
of
with it not
Oz
being
Haggerty.
either of them. Oh, no.
Well, it's the only other person I can think of that would have been in the same time frame.
I'm just going to prefer someone off screen that we never met.
Okay.
Ew to Oz, but okay. But yeah, we need Nikolas to do the paternity test. Maybe then he can be mad and storm away and never come back.
Maybe. Okay.
He has nothing in Port Charles because Spencer's still mad at him and Ava doesn't want him.
Spencer's going to be
and that baby's not even his.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So we'll make him go away in like a week or two after we do that.
But then speaking of DNA tests.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Sasha lets Nikolas know, or Cody know, that the reason why the DNA test came back, well, because she stepped in and said, and it's going to say that Cody is not Mac's son.
Right.
And then he's like, how did that happen? And she's like, I swapped my own hair. It would show that she was a female and not a male.
Yes.
And it says one of the DNA markers checked by the lab during a paternity test is the sex gene. On a report, this shows XX for female, XY for male. This is a useful process for a variety of reasons. For example, if the child is supposed to be a male, this check shows that the sample is from a female. The lab can contact the customer and ask for clarification to ensure the correct samples were submitted. Sometimes customers accidentally mislabel samples, and this process can catch this mistake. So it is something that is screened for, and that is from the DNA Diagnostic Center, what paternity testing can and can't tell you, February 5th, 2018.
Boom.
It is screened for that mistake, specifically.
Yeah.
Probably also just to make sure that nothing got mixed up in the lab, too. So...
And Cody goes right back to wanting to protect her and is like, I did something bad. That's why I am not being Mac's son. And me switching the tests at first was bad. So now you just incriminated yourself by you also switching the test, which again is still bad.
Right.
I guess he didn't switch the tests at first. He lied about the test results.
Right.
Which was bad. That wasn't illegal. The illegal stuff was the
switching.
Yeah.
Tampering.
No, not switching. He didn't switch.
He didn't. She did. She tampered. She did.
She would get in trouble for tampering.
Right.
But when he said that he had already done stuff that he was going to get in trouble for, he was talking about the lawsuit that he filed with Scott over the necklace. And so now she's implicating herself in that.
Yes. Gregory and Alexis. I don't like that they're using the same background music. Remember when couples used to have their own theme song? Now it's all the dun 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 dun. And I'm like, no. Can we just get...
Thank you for song time.
You're welcome. It's been a long time since we've had karaoke time.
Yes.
But now she's like so excited. Now she wants to train to be able to jump out of a plane by herself. And then they just discussed, should that kiss have happened? Should it not have happened?
Well, he asked her an impossible question. I like Gregory and Alexis together just because they both need somebody, so sure, go ahead and do it. And I don't dislike Gregory, per se, but he's not like a character I'm really, really invested in. So whatever. But he says to her, if you didn't know that I was dying, would you have gone skydiving? And she's like, no, I was obviously terrified. I didn't want to go skydiving. You know this. And he's like, okay then. And if you hadn't gone skydiving knowing I was dying, would you have kissed me? I can't not know things that I know, is what she said.
Right.
It doesn't matter, Gregory. The point is that she knew what she was doing and she kissed you anyway. So
Right.
Be happy that she obviously meant she's willing to be by your side in a friend capacity or more while you go through everything you're going through, whether it's a couple month timeline or a couple year timeline.
Right.
Why are we questioning it? Question like, was it because of an adrenaline rush? Sure, that makes sense. The other questions, no. Can't not know what I know.
And then Diane and Robert, I guess we can so I just took my notes. I literally, anything that happened that was outside of the memorial, I just put together. Diane and Robert on Friday discussed Sonny and Cyris, and Robert's basically telling Diane, like, we basically got him this time.
And she's like, no one gets Sonny.
Right.
Let me put some holes in your plan because you don't want to go up against me.
And she's upset that he wants Sonny to actually go to jail. And then she said, and he was like, what are you going to do with all your time now that you're not defending your biggest client? And she's like, not spending it with you.
Yep.
Which, okay, I love Diane. I love how her brain works. I love how she finds those little loopholes for Sonny because that's why she's on retainer.
Mm-hmm.
But Sonny's not denying having beat up Cyris. And, like, there's going to be DNA evidence and everything. There's really not much that she can, because even she said, but Cyris is seen worse than Sonny.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, but it was in a church. It was, it was provoked. Like, Sonny doesn't have a scratch on him other than the ones that so it's not like he can say self-defense.
Right. But I just don't understand if Cyris said in the beginning he wasn't going to say anything. He wouldn't talk to Dante, blah, blah, blah. So if Cyris goes in there and says, I'm not testifying, I'm not being part of this process.
I don't know.
What are they going to do? Like, I know the police can still press charges even if the victim doesn't want to, but how far can they press it? Because if Cyris isn't going to help, then,
right.
What evidence is there that it wasn't self-defense or that it wasn't provoked in some way? Something that would change the sentence.
I bet the church has cameras. Should have cameras, at least.
No idea.
Nope. I don't know. And we forgot to talk about when Nina and Ava were talking about Nina doesn't know that Sonny was arrested for beating up Cyris. And we forgot to talk about the fact that when Nina went to Sonny's, he slammed the door in her face the week before, which was great. And then Nina's trying to rope it in that, well, what's Sonny going to do when he knows you told me to do that? Oh my gosh. Anything to avoid taking ownership, which we thought she was doing. And Ava's like, hold up. No.
I love Ava.
I asked you, what do you think would happen if?
Yeah.
And you decided to go do it. I was asking you, like, Amanda and I could sit here and be like, I wonder what it would be like if I blew up this hole in my backyard. We're not going to go try it.
No.
And
if you do it on your own, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I feel
it's Amanda's fault.
For that.
Right.
I'm going to say we had a conversation and decided it was a bad idea. Why did you go do that?
Just to see if it would be? No. Oh, I love that Nina. I don't feel like they're going to be friends for much longer if she keeps this up, because Nina has been having to remind her too many times. This is on you, not me.
Ava. You said Nina.
Yes.
Got
Ava's had to be reminding Nina. Yes. Sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
And then Curtis was a candidate for surgery. Only 3 out of 25 have been successful. Marshall blows up at Stella for having realistic
expectations,
concerns.
Yeah.
That Curtis really, really struggled when he first came out of surgery and found out that he wasn't able to walk. What's going to happen if he can't? And then
Marshall's just being mad because he's mad that they hugged and didn't kiss, but maybe wanted to kiss, but they're confused on their conflicting feelings.
Right.
Okay.
He confronted her about it. But then Portia and Curtis talk about what could happen, and then they decide to not do the surgery. And then when the surgeon comes in, Portia's like, he'll do it.
I love how much you just don't love her. I just don't like the way that she
You don't like her
pretends. Oh,
either.
I don't like her. Your emotions. I wish they could see your reenactment because your whole body
that's exactly how she
language
did it.
changes. Like
She
you
was
get
holding
so mad.
his hand, all comforting, just as he's about to tell the surgeon, you know what? I don't think we're going to take the chance. And then she decides to change their mind, even though they had just been talking about like the possibility of them doing it. And he really was saying it's on not all her decision, but I really want her opinion. She just swooped in there and was like, nope, I changed my mind. You're doing this.
Yep.
And then while he was in surgery, Trina told Stella about the Sorbonne.
I love that.
Yes.
She's like, I know, I should stay here. And Stella's like, I didn't say that. What are you talking
She's
about?
like, you know what I would do? I'd be in Paris.
Yeah. You can come back and see your dad. We'll be here. You can FaceTime him. It's fine.
And then Curtis said the same thing. He woke up and Trina went to go see him. And she said, I didn't tell you about this, but I'm going to, I was accepted into this program and Spencer's going to come with me. And he was like, why don't you go by yourself? And I don't think he was definitely not saying it in the...
It wasn't against Spencer. It was just, this is an experience that maybe you don't want to share with him.
Right. Because he's also already been to Paris.
Yeah.
He knows it, which is, it's fine. That's great that he's
not
been
a
able to
student
do
there.
that. Right. And she wants to go experience it. So, and now with everything going on with Ace, Spencer's definitely not going to be going. Trina's going to go by herself. Are they going to work out? Who knows? And then Joss and Adam at the dorm. We forgot to talk about that altogether last week. Basically, Adam is just totally freaking out.
So every week, Adam is a train wreck, and he does something else to alert Joss to the fact that he's a train wreck. So last week, it was that he was drunk basically by himself. Like, he had gone to a party, but then he left and had a bunch of alcohol, or was continuing to drink the alcohol, and they had to sober him up. And I think we didn't really talk about it because Dex stayed with him because that was whenever Joss got the call about Bobbie.
Right.
So she left. But she let the school know, and the RA came to talk to him and let him know that there was information in his little parent portal thing or student portal.
A counselor was added to his portal,
to which his parents can see, and so he freaked out that they were going to be so mad and disappointed.
They're not supposed to see. They forced him to give them the log on. After they found out that he lied about the internship. Otherwise, it is supposed to be like, I cannot get into my son's portal.
Okay.
I have my own.
Yes, you get your own ID because you can submit parent information. I forgot that it's not the same thing.
Because that's why he was freaking out. He's like, they're going to see that and wonder what the heck's going on and just think that I'm lying more. And I just feel like we really need to get more info. We need to know what is going on. Is he putting the stress on himself? Is it parents? What is it?
I'm hoping that his parents show up and clarify for us that, yes, they put all this pressure on him, but they also told him that if he couldn't stand the pressure, that he didn't need to go through with it, because they did at some point in time ask him, are you taking those pills again? Like, you didn't hear exactly that, but he was holding the pills and you knew that's what they said. And he was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore, blah, blah, blah. So they know he had a problem. They are probably concerned once they see this message about a counselor, and hopefully they'll come and give some clarity of, yes, we pressured him if he's going to do this to do his best, but we're not pressuring him to the point that he should be taking medication that is not his.
Right.
Or not prescribed for that reason.
And Joss did the right thing. She went to the RA and tried to get, are they still considered RAs? Is that what they're still called?
That's what they were calling them.
Okay. I feel like my son's is something different. But it's the same thing, but it's just like they have a different name now.
Yeah.
But
they were so nice about it. Like, obviously it's his first time having any issues and stuff. So the RA is like, listen, someone can talk to you right now. We can figure this out. Like, we're not kicking you out. We're not making you drop classes. We're not costing you a bunch of money or whatever. Just go talk to somebody and see what's up.
Right.
I don't know.
And then on Friday, Sonny had Dex searched before he came into his office and then proceeded to ask Dex to kill Cyris.
Yeah.
And when Dex was like, I really don't think that's a good idea, and he gave some really good points as to, you might not want to be doing that right now. I don't think you're thinking with a clear head right now. You're making this decision based on emotions, not facts.
Yes.
And Sonny starts yelling at him, questioning his loyalty. And so Dex was like, all right, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then calls Joss and says, I love you, like in a voicemail, which means we know Dex is going to wind up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because she's going to have that forever. And then Dex is going to be in a coma. And Sonny's going to be like, man, I really shouldn't have put that pressure on him. Maybe I did overreact.
Yep.
And Joss and Sonny are going to be mad at each other again. And Carly's not going to be able to handle it because she's dealing with a lot of other stuff right now, guys.
Yeah. Just don't need that storyline right now.
No. And then I guess kind of leading into it a little bit. So at the Port Charles Grill, Brooklyn was trying to comfort Tracy during her business lunch. And Tracy went over to tell Martin all about Scott and Lucy. So she's still not buying it.
No.
She's like, no, you don't understand. The two of them together are never a good sign.
Starting all the way back from the 80s when they became friends.
Yep. I feel like Martin didn't give a lot of pushback on that. He kind of I felt like he just kind of sat there and listened. And
I mean, what was he going to say? First of all, we know that Tracy doesn't like them. We know that she can over-exaggerate. And we know that Lucy and Scott are hanging out right now because of the fact that Bobbie passed away. So what is he going to say? Like, okay, if you're right, lady, then it'll all come out within the next couple weeks and I'll figure it out.
Right.
If you're overreacting, then nothing will happen. And I'm glad I didn't get upset about something for no reason. I feel like he's very down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Tracy, thanks for the input. Yes, they're hanging out together. They're looking for flowers.
And then Willow was at the main house telling Joss and Michael how sorry she was and asked Michael, like, why didn't you call me? I'm kind of on her side. I know that, I guess I'm torn because she told him to stay not home. But that's kind of an extenuating.
Yeah, I feel like
your grandmother dies, that's kind of a.
Yeah, I feel like he was putting more distance between the two of them there by not going home or not at least calling her and telling her, because it's kind of like, even in one of my bigger times of need, you said stay away, so I did. It's like spiteful.
Yeah. And it's like, no, it's not like he tried to call and she hung up on him.
Right.
It was, he just didn't. And Michael's he's old enough, I feel, that.
Like, even if we got in a huge fight, if something major happened, I would text you and be like, look, I know you're mad and I'm still mad too, but by the way, this big thing happened.
Right.
Like, we have to put it aside for a moment. Like, at the funeral, Tracy did say to Lucy, we are going to put this aside for today because that's what Bobbie would need or would want.
Yep. I don't even think Bobbie would want that, but that's just a whole other thing. Because Joss kind of called him out on it. On not tell, and then he was like, what, like you've never lied to someone you've loved before?
Never lied to protect someone you loved before.
And that was Cam.
And then she made that face like.
And then we just never went back to it.
Nope.
And then Sonny was at the jail. Yeah, so this was before he obviously did the deck stuff. This was Monday or Tuesday when he was still in jail. Dante came in and uncuffed him and told him about Bobbie. And Diane showed up and was like, yeah, so you're going to be able to leave right now.
Yeah.
And then because Cyris is a convicted felon, she was able to get him bail. I don't feel like that's accurate. It does not matter what he could be a murderer.
Right.
He is a murderer.
Yeah,
you don't get to just, you don't get a pass. It's like, oh, it's okay. You don't, well, you can just buy your way out of jail because of who he is. No.
No, you don't get a lesser, at least initial sentence because whoever you fought, killed, whatever, was a bad person. It's still hurting someone.
Sonny, he's been arrested how many times? If anything, that's another reason to not have bail.
Alleged.
He's been arrested, though.
I know.
That's the thing.
Yes.
He's been arrested plenty of times.
Right.
They shouldn't just... For that just being the reason. It would have been... Just don't even give a reason. Just have it be... Diane was able to post her bail.
Right.
Period on the sentence. We don't need...
As we've said other times that Sonny was in trouble, he has a business, he has a family, he has a new wife, all of that stuff. I talked to them, we had to post $1,000 bail because they're letting you out, trusting that you're not going to go somewhere else because of your ties to the community.
Right.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Right.
Would have worked just as well.
So we can slowly enter this.
Okay. I'm gonna follow your lead. I don't want to overwhelm you.
All right. On Monday, Carly closed Kelly's and Liz came in. And it was so sweet that Liz was able to fix the pipe for her. And she just wanted to tell Carly, I'm here. I love Bobbie too. And she was so important to me. Let's just...
I thought it was
funny. I got a whole new box of tissues, just so you know.
That's good. I just thought it was funny because they were trying to show the emotion but still keep it a little lighthearted, because Carly's all of a sudden she disappears into the back. She's gonna make more coffee, and then or she wants to grab a pastry, and then she starts screaming, and so Liz goes back and is like, what is wrong? Like, you're not actually cooking. What could possibly be the issue? And she's like, the stupid sink, blah blah blah. And so Liz is like, do you have a wrench? Like, she's gonna fix something, but she doesn't. She just like bangs on the pipe.
But that is how things happen.
Yes, and she's like, that pipe has been a problem for years. It's not the water tap. It's
We've seen Cam do that. Didn't we see Cam do that? Oh, that was sweet.
So very, very cute that they kept that, like, the issue through the years. And like Carly said, I know that's just like a dumb little memory probably, but now it's everything. Like, I wasn't around for that. I forgot that you worked here when you were younger. Tell me more.
Right.
And so they sat and had a cup of coffee and like bonded. I love the way that the two of them through the years have grown to, like, we're still not friends. We're not going to go
They're not going to become
tomorrow.
a Sam and Carly.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to do, all these things together. However, I respect you as a mom. I respect you as Jason's friend. I respect you for the woman that you have become. And you show the same respect to me. And so, yeah, we can sit and have a cup of coffee talking about this specific thing. We're not going to meet up next week for a coffee to chit-chat before we go to the store or whatever.
Well, and a lot of their problems were, Liz was still very young.
Yes.
Like, she was a young adult, but she was just getting out of her teenage years, whereas Carly was an adult.
Absolutely.
But still. And then earlier in the week, we had seen Lucy and Scott were at Cafe Cherie, and Lucy was trying to find Bobbie's favorite flowers, and she's going to regret never being able to make things right with Bobbie. And she and Scott just reminisced about, their little love-hate relationship. And Lucy doesn't think that it's fair that people forgave Bobbie and not just her. And I'm thinking, well, that's because Bobbie grew up and you haven't.
Right.
And then Lucy even said, or Scott told her, right?
Yeah.
That Bobbie stopped doing her shenanigans and Lucy didn't. And Lucy was jealous of the fact that she did. Yet Lucy could have done it. So
I thought we were going to get such a good scoop there, though, because for a minute she was like, can I tell you something? And you promise not to tell anyone else. And then they cut away to something else dumb. And then they come back and it's like, oh, I'm jealous. Well, duh. That's not
we all knew that.
a big secret.
Maybe she just realized it.
I mean, I guess that's kind of the way they were playing it, but that's not a big secret. Scott knew that. We all knew that.
And it's not like she just had the epiphany of, and then they cut away.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to, Scott, I've been jealous of her all these years.
Right.
Like, she literally didn't know. No, I think she did know, and she's just kind of kept it in.
Yes.
But she needed to order forget-me-nots. Are those Bobbie's favorite flowers?
No.
Then?
It was the other flower that was the favorite flower. And then
What was the other flower?
I don't know. What did she say first? I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't think she said anything, and I didn't write it down.
I thought she did say it, but maybe she didn't. No,
She said, I know that they're out of season.
Yeah.
And then I just kept thinking of lilacs, because those are my favorite, and they're, like, never in season.
Yeah, I don't know what her favorite flower was, but then she said, I forgot to get the forget-me-nots. Like, they were supposed to be part of I took it as it was supposed to be part of the procession, like,
right.
Like
you go home and plant them, and then when they bloom, you remember Bobbie. That's what I thought they were, was more of something like that.
But the favorite flower I thought was for the arrangement, like on the casket or up on the altar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not sure.
So what were her? I don't know. We'll have to find it. And then Sonny went to see Carly, and they talked about Bobbie and about how, she pretended to not like you, but she actually did. Mm-hmm. Maybe you weren't her favorite person.
Hey, she was scared for her daughter's safety. That makes sense.
Right. But overall, like, she knew that he was a decent dad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the best husband. And what'd she say? And every time we got divorced. She never told me, I told you so.
Yeah.
I liked that. And then we saw Maxie and Felicia at BJ's grave.
Yep.
And then we started on Wednesday. So that was Monday and Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, they started the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that Bobbie was in the opening credits both days?
Yes.
Okay. So she's already on the wall at GH, which I was kind of torn about, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I like the fact that she was just there.
It's a good picture.
Yeah. And she's already up next to Epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Cody's going to be watching James, and he's going to let him play in the stables while Felicia and...
Yep. Goes to the funeral.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And then Carly gets a call that during the storm, the sign on Kelly's fell, And Liz was like, I can paint another one. And I would just like witness that. So I wrote these all in order because that's what I do.
I know you do.
And what did I write?
I can't read that from here, but I'm sure.
Oh my God, are they going to change the name to Bobbies? And then I was done because I'm like, that would be so great. And if they don't do it, I'm going to be so mad. At the church, Dante's like, hey, how's it going to Carly? But I love that he did that.
Yeah.
That's such a...
Right. And then he said, like, that was a really dumb question.
Like, I'm that person. I'm like, I don't know what to say to you right now. Just know that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying my best and I feel for you.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to ask you, you doing okay? Because that's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can say.
Nope.
It's just,
Sorry,
and if you're being really honest, this really sucks.
Yeah.
You know, but I will tell you that afterwards. Like, we can talk about that one afterwards. But they talked about Lulu loving Bobbie like they were just acquaintances, which it was like,
yep.
No, how about you say, you know, I went to see Lulu yesterday and told her I know that this is going to break her heart that she's not here today.
Yep. Something, anything, but that was just dumb.
And then was it at Maxie's house that she and Anna and Felicia talked about how Maxie's like, you know, I have this feeling, she's like, and I think I remember this. I'm imagining this, that I just remember Uncle Tony listening. Thank you so much for not showing it.
Oh, it was at the beginning of the church.
But
whenever they like stopped to look at the like memory board.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because whenever she was like, I have a memory, but I know I can't really remember it because I was still in a coma. And Felicia's like, no, that absolutely happened.
Yep.
And Anna explains how that's why they tell you to talk to people who are unconscious and they can hear you, they can feel you, blah, blah, blah.
And I love the fact that I don't know how I feel about this. Like, they never ever discussed the fact that Uncle Tony ever listened to her heart. I can understand why he would never say it.
Right, but I would think
that no one's ever...
happen. Yeah.
But I think that's just interesting because, yeah, why would you tell a child? By the way, Uncle Tony was listening to... She felt bad enough that that's what was happening.
Yeah.
You know, she was aware of it at her age.
She had an understanding, exactly, that was BJ's. So I feel like she would have been okay if they had been like, you know, we just want to listen to the rhythm of the heart again.
Right. Do we want to toast her now or later?
You tell me.
No, we're doing it now.
All right.
So we did get champagne to toast Bobbie because
why not? And because she deserves it.
She does.
That's a big bottle.
It is.
Okay.
Well, we have to record her other thing today too.
Okay.
The 411. There we go. This is my job at all the holidays.
Yeah.
At my in-laws.
I think I'd be the take somebody's eye out person.
No.
They're bubbly. That'd have been a good prop one. I was going to say, you better be adding more to yours.
Oh, yeah. I just didn't tilt it enough. Do you want more now that they're...
No, that's fine.
Right. Cheers to Jackie.
Yes.
Yum, yum. We also have orange juice. We're going to be making this into mimosas. All right. And then Willow talks to Michael about how Monica's not feeling well.
Oh, that made me so sad.
I know. But at least we just saw her.
We did. We just saw her, and her not feeling well is definitely an acceptable whatever. And I feel like we talked about this last week. I think the hardest part of watching all this was seeing the real emotion on the actors' faces. And so I would bet that had a lot to do with it.
Oh, sure.
Not only was she physically maybe not up to it, but emotionally too much.
Well, and like I feel like they probably gave Eden McCoy the option of, hey, do you want to come back for this? Can you?
Right.
And respected if I'm speculating here.
100%, but it would make sense.
Because she's been posting stuff like it looks like she's been traveling, which has probably been needed after what she has gone through.
Yeah.
So Carly thanked Tracy for helping Bobbie with Luke's affairs, and she was like, yeah, I don't know how much I actually helped her.
Right. She didn't seem to appreciate it that much. She wanted me out of the way.
But then Tracy thanked her for Bobbie being so loyal to Luke.
It was, yeah.
And then that's when Lucy came in, and Tracy kind of like, I don't feel like Tracy did a Tracy storm.
No,
she just quickly walked back, and she was like, listen.
Right.
we're not doing this.
I feel like she did the whole locking eyes things and walked with intent, but not like crazy, because that's why Lucy was like, no, we are not doing this here. And then Tracy was like, no, we're not doing this here. That's what I'm trying to come over and say to you, is we're going to make a truce for today because neither one of us needs to deal with this extra.
Yeah. And then in the back, Alexis lit a candle for Bobbie. And Christina mentioned about how Bobbie had helped her through the Kiefer situation. I'm glad that they didn't try to alter those, because Lexi did an amazing job during that storyline. Like, that is not one, because they've done that with some Carly, where they have altered some previous memories to insert Laura right into. You can't do that with the Kiefer story. But then Alexis was like, yeah, but she helped me too on how to support you. And we got to see those scenes where Bobbie was basically telling Alexis, you know, I went through this.
Right. Sometimes you just don't know what to do. Because Alexis was like blaming herself. Why didn't she see the signs? Why didn't she know? And Bobbie was like, you can't know all the time. That's just how it is. And you do your best to get your daughter through it. She's going to need a lot of patience and love.
Yep.
And then, so Laura went first, giving the eulogy.
Well, so the pallbearers were Michael, Spencer, Drew, Lucas. We got Ryan Carnes back.
I was so happy.
And Kevin.
Yeah, that was nice.
So that was very nice.
Yeah.
But yes, Laura did the eulogy.
I liked it. I liked how honest everyone was. We've talked about this before in our own personal lives as far as planning when we're gone. Don't stand up there and tell the whole world that I was the kindest, nicest person you've ever met, and that I never made any mistakes, and that we were
I did
BFFs.
not light up every room. Well, we are, but I did not light up every room.
No, BFFs instantly. Right. We were not BFFs instantly either.
I hate she never met a stranger. She didn't make a friend or whatever. Right. Yes, I have.
Yes.
Guess what? I'm not perfect.
Exactly.
You know, what did I tell you? Tell people she was a hot mess. She tried real hard, and she was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep, exactly. So I like that every story, although it highlighted the goodness at the end of Bobbie, it did not lie or rewrite her character. So Laura was like, yeah, we had some, and at the eulogy, she didn't get into as much detail as she did later when she was talking to the reporter, but she was like, yeah, we didn't get off on the best foot. We were not best friends, but through family and love and time, she wasn't just my sister-in-law. She was my sister, and she was amazing, and she did, these things for our family and stuff. And it was so nice.
She said that when she was younger, she fought with people, and then she fought for them.
Yes. And that was true.
That was so true. And so on our Instagram, I found a video on YouTube of all of Bobbie's slaps. Not all of Bobbie's slaps. Not even all of them. But I guess some of the highlights, they're so good, because there's one with Laura from the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty well-deserved one that I kind of forgot about. And now watching it now, because I feel like maybe when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh, how dare you? And now I'm like, oh, no, it was when Laura came back from being dead.
Yeah.
Bobbie slapped her and called her a selfish bee.
Yeah.
And they were in the fog. Back when they did that. Yes. Oh, gosh, back when they did the fog on the pier. Guys, can we get the fog on the pier? Thanks.
Everybody chip in for a new fog machine.
Yep. Done. We will sponsor it.
Okay.
And then Scott spoke, and he talked about all the friends that she had, like the wide range of friends. And he's like, even Richard Simmons, which I love that they mentioned that. And that there's a fight scene from their aerobics class too on the video.
And he called Felicia the Aztec princess.
Yes. And he's like, she and I were meant to be best friends.
Yeah. That was nice.
And Liz went up and talked about her being a healer and just left it at, very broad.
Right. She said, I had been through something traumatic and Bobbie helped me. And that was a nice, not nice, obviously, but a nice flashback to, you remember, seeing it back then. And Bobbie even says in the scene, like, I promised my nephew that I would take good care of you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, I remember this from the beginning.
Hate that he wasn't there.
I do too.
Or even mentioned. There was not even a mention of Lucky wasn't able to be here.
Right.
But whatever. Okay, first, before I start complaining about things, I think it was absolutely amazing, and there was absolutely no way that I think either of us could have possibly even. I think it was absolutely perfect.
It was.
There are some unfortunate circumstances that people are obviously not on the show anymore, and it just stinks.
Right.
It has nothing to do with how it was written or anything like that.
No.
But then Carly ended by talking about what a mess she had been when she moved to Port Charles, and basically about how like they went from being such enemies to being mother-daughter.
Right.
You know, and she's like, you know, Bobbie wasn't the one that tucked me in at night, or like she talked about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't the one who raised me, but she was my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was over. And there had been a woman earlier in the day that Maxie kept like looking at, and then she approached her because she was like on her phone, like tap, tap, tap. And I had seen a spoiler that actress was the actress that portrayed BJ. And I was like, that is so cool that they figured out a way to get her in here. And then I was like, how could they get the little Maxie in here? But I don't think that they would have been able to do that one without people recognizing her, because she became teenage Maxie.
Right.
So we knew her as older, whereas none of us had probably really paid attention to BJ, the actress that portrayed BJ.
Right.
And it turns out that she is Angela Brighton, a reporter for the Associated Press. And she was doing a story on Bobbie. And that's all that we found out on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Felix and Lucas talked.
I love Felix. It had been so long since we had seen him.
Amy wasn't there because we've just seen her.
Yeah.
So why, whatever. And then Felicia and Carly spoke, and Carly thanked her for being such a good friend to Bobbie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did go to Kelly's for a second. And Maxie and Angela talked about how she was stationed at did I say the Associated Press or did I say AP?
You said Associated Press.
Okay, yeah. Because some people might not know that that's what AP stands for. Because that's all she said.
Right.
She said for the AP. And I'm like, it's the Associated Press in case anyone doesn't know. Bobbie was doing work in Amsterdam and had told her a lot about Carly. That's right. So they were all kind of talking there. And she started writing a profile on her and about how she had been devoting time to human trafficking charity. Because Felicia was saying there too. It was the three of them. It was Carly, Maxie, and Felicia, and this girl. And that she was helping women escape and travel to the States and get asylum. And she had told her of her teen years and how Bobbie was actually trafficked herself because she was just a teen when she was a prostitute.
Right.
And that's what it was at the time.
Yes.
And that there was a point person for the organization that helped with the coordination, but that there was like one last girl that Bobbie was in the process of getting over. And then Carly left and went to Tracy and was like, I need your help. This is what was going on while you were there.
And I loved that Tracy, in Tracy style, was like, I don't know, she went off by herself a lot. She didn't really talk about anything. She mentioned the cabin you guys have in Canada once or twice. But I followed her. That Luke had. And I did follow her. And I was like, of course you did, Tracy. Of course you did. Like, you wouldn't just let her be without knowing. And she was like,
I think she was making sure she was safe. I don't think it was all that. She was being nosy.
But, yeah, I liked, again, that's true to Tracy's personality. Like, why are you leaving me? What are you doing good? Or do you have some secret?
Right.
And so she knew that little bit of information.
Like, I think she thought that she was going to find her, like, seeing somebody.
Yeah.
You know.
Something juicy like that. And so then Carly decides that's it. She needs to go to Amsterdam and help figure out who this contact is, and was the woman okay, because that was Bobbie's last mission. And then Felicia shows up at the last minute and is like, hey, I'm coming with you because I used to be a PI. I have some ideas. Like, what are you going to do? And Carly's like, I'll show a picture to everybody. And she's like,
no, that's not how that's going to work.
Not going to get you where you want to go. And then they had the flat tire, and I think that was probably my favorite scene of how they like explained things and wrapped things up or whatever, because Carly said, you're my mom's best friend and we never hung out.
Never really even paid attention to that.
Yeah. And then Carly was like, I just didn't understand. And Felicia was like, well, you came in and blew up my best friend's life, who happened to be married to my brother-in-law. So you ripped apart my family, besides hurt my friend. I have to admit, I have not really had an interest in spending any time with you because of that.
Right. And then she really was so kind about it.
Right.
You know, because Carly was kind of, I don't think Carly literally ever thought about that, obviously, because she's like, how is it that we don't really know each other, you know?
Exactly. And
Felicia's like, okay, how do I say this? And Carly's like, oh, wait, you know why we haven't.
Yeah, exactly. And then once Felicia said it, she's like, oh, that like really makes sense. I did not realize, not that it would have stopped me, but I did not realize that that's what I was doing on top of what I was doing. And then I was kind of about her talking about her and Maxie being close, because for a while her and Maxie were a little bit closer. They're not so close now. But Carly did say, I am close with Maxie, and I saw the way that you not being here hurt her, and so it kind of already gave me a negative idea of who you were.
Right.
And Felicia was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. And then they were like, okay, how about we forgive each other, since your mom forgave you and my daughter forgave me, and move
Maybe
forward.
we should. Well, and the thing I did like was that Carly was not trying to compare what she did to what Felicia did.
Mm-mm.
Because, and she's like, oh, well, but this is also why I've been hesitant, is because, you know, I saw Maxie hurting.
Right.
Not, well, you did this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was just right.
It
Funny,
wasn't
because
like,
I've had this kind of
like if
hanging out in the background.
To Nina would have been like, but you did something worse because you abandoned your daughter. That's not what Carly was saying.
No.
She was like, oh yeah, I kept my distance because you hurt Maxie, and I guess I just didn't really think much of you then.
Yep.
So.
And there was something prior to them leaving for Amsterdam that Felicia was remembering when she told Bobbie that she loved her so much because she couldn't even think of a way to thank her. And it was while Maxie was in surgery receiving BJ's heart.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And that was what she said to Carly, because Carly hesitated at first and was like, no, I don't really need you to come with me. And she was like, listen, your mom was my best friend, and she literally gave me my daughter back. Right. So I need to help you do this for her. And I think it was the way she worded that at the end, like said exactly what Carly had just told Joss and Drew of, I need to finish this last thing that my best friend was doing. And Carly was like, oh, yep, I need to finish this thing that my mom was doing. Of course, let's do it together.
Well, I think it was funny because it's not like Felicia had called Carly and Carly was like, hey, I'm going to, like, I'm packing for Amsterdam.
Like, Drew said you were going to Amsterdam and I'm coming with you.
Just showed up here and we're going to go.
Yeah.
And then Maxie told Angela, hey, come back here tomorrow and I will have back-to-back people that you can interview about their history with Bobbie and hear all the stories. So that's basically what happened. In between all of that, we saw Anna and Robert talking about how it was so difficult to be saying goodbye to everybody, and that they've had to say goodbye to too many people in the past year. And they talked about Epiphany, and they were like, we've had to say goodbye to too many people that took care of our daughter when we weren't here.
Yes.
You know, they had to skip goodbye to Epiphany, and Bobbie took care of Robin while they were gone.
Yeah.
So then Thursday kind of moved in between Kelly's and Amsterdam. Well, Felicia and Carly were in Amsterdam. Felicia was reading that Budapest Crossing by Pierce Rupp. That's not a real book. That's the one that Anna was reading in August of 22, and Joss was reading Poolside last year. I need to know why this book exists.
I want to know if there's actual words in it or if it's just blank pages.
Right.
Like, do they pretend write a story? Did somebody write a story, like, on set?
Like,
and that's their book? I want to read it.
What's the purpose behind this fake book? Mm-hmm. And that we keep using it. Like, I want to know.
Right. No, there has to be something. It has to be a joke to somebody or a like shout out to somebody. I want to know the information.
And I love that at the beginning, Carly was just like, have you seen this woman? Have you seen this woman? And Felicia's like, knock it off.
Exactly. Just sit here. And then they sit at different tables.
I loved that on their Bluetooths. Just like hidden in their hair.
Just chatting away. And then Felicia's like, hold on, don't turn around. And you can just see, like, if there's anything that makes you want to turn around, it's when someone tells you don't turn around. And so she was like, and she's like, no, don't move. Hold on. I think we have the contact that we need, blah, blah, blah. And so it was this woman who was talking to the guy who had already said, no, he didn't know who Bobbie was. And then they stopped her and she was like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. And they were like, no, we know Bobbie and she passed away. And then the lady was like,
no, it wasn't the necklace yet. Sorry.
No. And so then she sat down and talked to them and she was like, how did you even know any of this? And Carly's like, well, this reporter came and told us because she had been talking to Bobbie. And the lady's like, that's not normal. You don't talk to reporters because what we're doing is secret and you don't want people to know the connections. And she's like, well, I don't know, but either way, my mom was working with this lady and I need to know if she made it to America to be safe. And she's like, what do you mean? Your mom didn't meet her? And they're like, no, she died here. And she's like, oh, I don't know. They picturing this woman in Canada stranded alone in some cabin. And that's when Carly remembers what Tracy had said about Luke's cabin.
And while they were waiting, though, Felicia was telling Carly about how Bobbie used to throw the parties at the brownstone. Yes. And Carly's like, yeah, I wasn't.
She says, I don't remember those. And she's like, that's
like, you weren't on the invite list at that time.
Yeah, the brownstone used to be happening.
Yep. But Bobbie helped one person at a time get from Amsterdam to Canada. And then while they were waiting on the asylum papers to come into the U.S., they stayed at the cabin. And there was a girl named Cornelia. And Felicia called Anna and Robert to see if they could help getting the paperwork fast-tracked.
That was funny, too, because Anna's like, yeah, I don't really have any
They don't like me so much right now. Robert's like, I might be able to. But Carly was like, yeah, so that's well and good, except for we need to find the girl. Mm-hmm. So then they just hopped on over to Ontario, randomly looking for a cabin, right? We don't know where this cabin is.
They had an address, but the GPS wasn't working.
Okay. Because they said something about the
general area. Okay, the GPS wasn't working, but I did think it was funny.
That's when Carly was wondering why she and Felicia never spent so much time together. Because then they almost hit the moon.
I'm sorry, I skipped ahead.
It's not like it really...
And that was funny because Carly's like, man, I'm so glad you didn't hit that deer. And she's like, that was not a deer. That was a moose.
It's like, really?
So I just liked, how the whole thing was all played out, except for it was funny. It reminded me of, when did we make a joke about they just drove from here to there, which is impossible because it's like 1 second they're in Amsterdam. And
do you want the details?
They're driving to Canada from Amsterdam.
So a flight from Buffalo to Amsterdam, on average, depending on flight, and I took out the extremes.
Yeah.
10 to 14 hours.
It was like 5 minutes.
From Amsterdam to Ontario, 16 to 20-ish hours. There were some that were well over 20 hours. And Ontario to Buffalo is about 8 hours.
Well, good thing we have super fast planes in General Hospital land.
Even on private. Let's just assume that Carly was on private and we were on the 10-hour, 16-hour, 8-hour.
You're just cutting out like the layover times there. It still takes time to fly. Just like no matter what kind of car you drive, it still takes time. Even if you're going well over the speed limit, you cannot get from here to Florida in 2 hours.
Right.
So
then at Kelly's, Laura was the first one, and she was like, I don't know what I can tell you that I didn't say in the eulogy yesterday. And it's like, really?
Right. And then she's like,
oh, yeah.
Our issue started over a boy. And then they go on.
And they shared the clip of Bobbie opening the door at Scott's.
More information to come on how that all happened.
Yeah. Join us on Thursday as we discuss all of that.
All the inside details.
But then she talked about how Bobbie always spoke her mind. And then Lucas spoke about how Bobbie absolutely hated nicknames because she had so many of them. Mm-hmm. And anytime Tony tried to call him like LL or something like that, she was like, no, his name is Lucas, except for BJ called him Champ, which I forgot to look up. Did she actually call him Champ?
I did not look that up, but the explanation, I liked the explanation that they gave.
It sounds
that Tony called him Champ and Bobbie yelled. Mm-hmm. So BJ, just messing with her mom, would then call him Champ, and then it kind of stuck.
Well, she just liked it so much.
Yeah.
She would like giggle. And so Bobbie let it go and talked about how she's always been a fighter. Mm-hmm. And then I like how Lucas couldn't say that she called him Champ and he was just like.
Until.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I would have to go back and watch. Like, I remember when Lucas was little, mm-hmm. but then BJ was only like 3-ish.
Right.
It seemed like. I don't remember seeing a ton of BJ and Lucas like running around the house playing together, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that there was lots of scenes like that, so I don't know if
he was probably still a baby
of Champ because, yeah, like she passed away because of the school bus accident, but I'm pretty sure it was still like kindergarten because they were like 6 or 7 whenever it happened. So he would have only been a toddler. I don't.
Right.
Like, I can't pick out a specific, oh, yeah, I remember he was sitting in the high chair and she said, bye, Champ, I'm going to school or something like that. Right. So I don't know if that was made up or
It
not.
makes sense that we wouldn't have seen it, but I love the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael, Willow, and Joss, Bobbie showed up in a black veil to protest his wedding to Nell.
That was so funny.
But then Bobbie gave Willow the bracelet
was
that Luke had given to her to wear at her wedding.
I want that bracelet. That was so beautiful.
And then Scott shared that Bobbie didn't take any guff from anyone, especially him. And we see him proposing and she smacked him.
Yes. That was that most recent one that I remember us even talking about. Like, in the middle of the day, Scott was like, hey, I'm lonely. Bobbie, you want to get married? And she was like, what is wrong with you?
And then Lucy talked about how Bobbie could throw around words. And Angela was like, so you guys were like the original frenemies.
Yeah.
And Lucy's like, yeah, we were.
We were frenemies before that was even a word.
And she says about how BJ was so special to her.
Yeah.
And then Liz mentioned that her sons don't know about her past. I'm surprised she didn't tell Cam, at least at this point.
Me too.
But why do I feel like he does know? I could have sworn that we saw that. I like to make up my own.
Maybe he
Things
found out
happened.
from somebody else and didn't talk to her about it because he didn't want to.
Because I thought that it was with the sex tape. I thought that she talked about something.
Maybe she said I had my own traumatic something or something like that, but didn't get into specifics.
Yeah. But I like the fact that she was like, can we just kind of, not maybe mention my name as part of that?
Right.
And the reporter was like, yeah. And Audrey didn't know how to handle it, but Bobbie did. And that's what inspired her to be a nurse. And now she has Bobbie's job.
Yeah.
And then, so I am very proud of myself right now, just so we all know, because I was a hot mess during all of this. And then my son happened to, so like I was in my room watching this and he was like going to work, I think, and he was going to say goodbye. And he's like, you okay? I was like, yeah, remember when I told you about the actual person passed away and they announced that the character passed away last week? He's like, yeah. I said, well, now they're doing her memorial. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Thursday episode.
Yeah.
It was the end of the Thursday episode is when my son decided to say goodbye to me before he went to work. And it was right when Maxie couldn't find Angela's card to get in touch with her. And like they couldn't find her online or anything. And I'm like, so my first instinct was she had something to do with the people that were sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And that she was just trying to find that woman. And I'm like, but they wouldn't have done something nefarious to come from this.
Mm-hmm.
Like they wouldn't have done that. Part of me thought that Luke was the coordinator and that he was helping girls because he couldn't help Bobbie. So that's what he was doing.
Oh, I would like that.
That's what I really, really thought was going to be. I thought Luke was going to be at the cabin. Oh, I forgot to talk about the girl in the cabin. They found her. And she recognized Bobbie's necklace and was like, why do you have that? And then she let Bobbie and Felicia talk to her and Carly and Felicia talked to her. And then they brought her to General Hospital to receive treatment. And that's when they made it there in 2 seconds. And then Felicia tried to contact her contact, or she did contact her contact in Amsterdam and was like, yeah, I'm trying to
she called the paper.
She called the paper, yes.
Yeah.
But
and they were like,
in Amsterdam. She's like, I know people in Amsterdam, because we all do.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, well, I'm trying to reach this reporter. And they're like, no one there has ever worked there named Angela Brighton.
The receptionist is like, I've been here for like years and years and years.
Right.
No one here by that name.
And then Lucas, so then we see everyone at Kelly's, and Liz had painted the new sign.
We hadn't seen it yet.
And we hadn't seen it yet. And it was Liz, Lucas, Carly.
Was Laura there?
Was it Laura? Who? I can't remember.
Or was it Felicia and then Felicia left?
Maybe. Because then Lucas had to go. And I felt so bad. Like you said, we watched everybody in real life. But like, he looked so distant.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt so bad because, I mean, and I give them all the credit. Like, they're allowed to walk away from this and
right.
do their own
if
thing.
That was why he didn't give part of the eulogy.
Yeah.
Was because he personally was feeling too much.
And then he went out there and Angela was standing there and he's like, hey, by the way, thanks for the tip. My sister and Felicia were able to get the girl. And then he turned around and she said, "You're welcome, champ." And I lost my mind.
Aww.
And I'm like, "That's BJ."
Aww.
Angel is Angela. Angela without the A is Angel, and Brighton is the actress's real first name.
Yeah.
I knew that because I was like, "Oh, that's cute. They're giving her part of her own name." I was like hyperventilating.
Aww.
And my son's like, "What?" And I'm like, "She was this character on this show back in the 90s, and she died, and she gave her heart." And like all this is like, but I thought that they just brought her back just to be the reporter because it would totally make sense.
Right.
Like it didn't. Did you know? Like, were you picking up on any of it?
I did not know. I was in the same boat as you. At first, when they first saw her, when Maxie first noticed her in the church, I was like, why is this chick on her phone? Like, who's at a funeral on her phone?
Right.
So what is she doing bad? Like, I don't like this.
Right.
And then whenever they couldn't find her, I was like, oh no, she's going to be part of the thing. And then same thought process. Like, they can't have something bad.
He was there, like, waiting for details, maybe from the different eulogies that she could piece together and be like, this girl is here.
Yes, exactly. And so then I'm like, no, they wouldn't do something bad. Like, we're trying to end Bobbie nicely. We're not going to do something bad. And so then I was just confused. And then once she said, "Oh, I'm a reporter, she does this," I was like, oh, that was so nice that they're trying to like end her on a happy, helping note because that was who she was, blah blah blah. And I had not.
That they brought back her past and we're having, and that's why I was like, that's why Luke is the coordinator because he wasn't able to help Bobbie.
I really like that. They could still use.
They could still do it.
Absolutely could, but I did not see the spoiler that she was the original actress.
Oh, okay.
And so the whole time I kept looking at her and being like, man, like that is crazy that she is the same actress and that she looks so much like Bobbie. Because every time I looked at her, I was like, she really does. Are they going to say something stupid like this is not their lost
I
daughter?
thought that for a second, and then I did the math.
And then I was like,
that's not possible.
No, I don't want that to be. And then once it like all clicked, I was like, oh my God. And then I Googled.
Do you know what though? I wish.
The same girl? And yeah, it is.
But it would have been nice if like while Lucas was walking away, Tony had grabbed her hand.
Yeah. But then you would like not even be here right now. You're going to be upstairs crying in your bed. So it's a good idea that it wasn't.
But I'm glad that, obviously we wanted Luke to be there. Right. But then we saw Carly go outside and put up the sign and it said Bobbies and my son was still in there and I'm like, it was right. And he's like, okay. I'm like, listen.
If your son happens to come home with a mental diagnosis for you because of your extreme ups and downs, I will not be surprised.
I just feel a lot of things. And so it was funny because a friend of mine was having a really hard day, and so we used that app Marco Polo, and I was trying to not ignore them, but
she's like, why are you crying?
And so finally I popped on. I was like, listen. I'm like, I'm not ignoring you.
It's a really hard
I'm
day
in the middle of
hospital.
this. And I'm like, would it help you if I distracted you with my story? And I think that's probably why I'm not such a hot mess right this second, because I retold it already.
Yeah.
And I was like, I normally don't get to talk about this until Sunday.
Right.
And I mean, she was very kind about it, but like at one point she did laugh, and then I shared more, and she's like, I just really wish that I could get, she's like, I'm a huge empath, in case you guys haven't figured that out yet.
No.
And it was just, and I'm like, I really think that it hit more just because it was Jackie, not just Bobbie.
Right.
But I love so much that they changed the name to Bobbies. I love it. I mean, it's sad because it's the end of an era, but
I'm never going to not call it Kelly.
It's always good. I mean, but that's just so perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's
and that Liz made the sign.
Liz made the sign.
It went together. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was really, really good, though.
Did.
I mean, that is beyond anything.
Other than, like you said, obviously we wanted Luke back, and it would have been nice if Monica could have been there and those kind of things. You can't change where people are in their real lives for a TV show. But as far as how the show played it out, the storyline or whatever, I thought it was amazing.
And they thought everything through. Like, I don't feel like there's any loose ends.
I loved that Maxie, I felt, showed the right amount of emotion. She had this connection to this reporter. She couldn't figure out why. She even said,
And Felicia said, you have really kind eyes. Has anyone ever told you that?
Right.
Yeah.
And so you saw that, but at the same time, Maxie wasn't like bawling her eyes out hysterically. Like,
right. Oh, yeah, because then she and Felicia figured it out, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like that it wasn't cheesy.
Right.
I feel like that was so amazing. That
Yeah, I had seen, so I didn't know that I saw a spoiler, but after I saw it, I guess I saw a spoiler that somebody was questioning how the comment was, but how is she an angel if everyone saw her? And I didn't know I assumed by that they were talking about they had like put Bobbie
in there somewhere.
And I was like,
yeah.
I don't see them
because
doing
AI
that.
now, they can totally do that.
You can, but I was like, I don't know. Unless she would have said those lines at some point to use her voice, you couldn't. I mean, I guess you could, but you wouldn't disrespect the actress to have an AI say her voice. So did they just like, impose her somewhere? What do you mean everyone saw her? But I didn't put too much thought into it.
Or if they've done it,
watched it.
Or if they had been talking about like how we said, we thought that she was going to be welcomed into heaven.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then that would have been nice though too. Maybe having Tony and someone who resembled Bobbie from the back that BJ went and walked with.
Right. Or just like them outstretching their hands with like a light so you didn't see that it was Bobbie walking towards, or it was supposed to be Bobbie walking towards.
And then she was rejoining. But I feel like that would have been so hard for Lucas though.
Right.
To be like, all right, so it's just me.
Yeah, I'm just going to stand here and watch you guys walk away and not flip out.
I'm just glad that they brought back Ryan Carnes and didn't... I'm sorry, like we only had the recast twice. Right. Maybe 3 times. There would have been no reason. It'd been like bringing back a recast Jonathan Jackson or a recast Lucky instead of Jonathan Jackson. Right. Like that would have been useless. Just have the person up. It
was hard for me. And like, again, I know real people, real lives off the show, and that's what's going on. But even seeing Carly sit there with not real Jocelyn next to her, I was like, oh, this feels not right. So if they would have put the rest of the stand-in characters for characters, no.
But understanding the circumstances behind Eden not being there makes it so understandable.
Exactly.
That she would not be able to possibly handle that.
We could barely handle watching it. We could be acting in it if we had just gone through what she's gone through.
I'm very proud of myself. I brought out a whole box too.
Good job.
Just for it.
Yay. Cheers to she.
Yay. Cheers to me. I'm out now. But no, really, if I had not already shared this with somebody else, I bet that I would have. It really was so good.
See, I was lucky. I guess it's like kind of rolls into the reality check even. I was lucky because Madeline had a friend sleeping over. So I had like cleaned all day. And then whenever her friend got there, they were upstairs playing. So I turned it on to sit and watch it like straight through. And so Ryan was there for a little bit of it to ask like questions here or there, but not much. And then Madeline and her friend came down here or there. So I kept having to like pause. And so I didn't get to sit in the emotion for too long. I watched
both back to back.
Yeah. I teared up a little bit, but I didn't like go
I was a mess.
It was more just I'm so sad. Like, I'm just so sad.
When BJ said champ, like I was already like misty. I was misty through everyone sharing just because I was like, they're thinking of it. But the second she said champ, I was like,
yeah. I think the one who got me the most, like looking at them, Felicia, like Christina Wagner, seemed like she was seriously very broken up. And then Scott, whenever they showed Scotty, I was like, I'm sure everyone's having a very hard time, but the two of them, I just wanted to like reach through my TV and be like, I'm so sorry you lost your friend. Because that was the true, again, I'm sure everyone on set cares about everyone on set, but those two really seemed like they were having a hard time.
Yeah.
So I really felt for them.
I don't even know how to go into reality. Oh, Laura said reality check this week. She said it when she was talking about that Bobbie always spoke her mind. And because she said about how Laura was raised where it was good manners, good this, good that, and good outcomes. And Bobbie was like, nope, she was always ready with a reality check because nope, this is how this goes. Mm-hmm. And you're acting like an idiot right now, so you're going to get bad results. Sorry, that's how that happens. But yeah, Laura said reality check this week. I was like, oh.
Reality check.
So what's your reality check?
So pretty much that, Madeline. Oh, I did Hello, Mr. Customer. If you're listening, I had an amazing...
Did you tell him about our podcast?
I was getting into it. So I had this customer and he called. He was so nice. And he just had like basic questions about his account. He needed a minute to find something. And I was like, yeah, take your time, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like I did anything above what a normal person would do. And I'm sorry if other customer service reps aren't that nice, because again, I didn't seem like I was doing something that nice, but he was like, you are so nice and thank you so much and blah blah blah, and I've been in customer service before and you couldn't pay me triple what I used to make to be in it now. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. You know, it is easier over the phone because you're not face to face with people. You can take it less personally than when they're screaming at you standing right in front of you, blah blah blah. And he was like, you shouldn't be working there. You have such a nice voice. You should be on TV or radio. And I was like, well, actually, I have a podcast. I don't know. We just like connected, you know? And I was like, actually, I have a podcast. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you go get it, girl. Like, that's awesome. And I was like, thanks. And he was like, what's your podcast name? And I was like, oh, Pure 54. It's about General Hospital. I'm sure you're going to think I'm a dork, but you know, it's my show. I watch with my friend, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And he was like, well, let me write that down. How do you spell that again? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have to listen to you. So if you're listening, thank you for listening. And even if you're not listening, thank you for the nice compliments because it made my day. And then he asked to talk to one of the supervisors and told them how wonderful I was. He called me an angel on earth. So
just like Brighton.
Exactly.
Or BJ.
So it was definitely like, you know, one of those fun things to connect with somebody, and nice customer reviews are always helpful. So that was nice. And then besides that, this week, Madeline was sick. We had a little mommy-daughter sick day because it was more like mental health needed to see me kind of stuff. And so now she's all better. And then she had her friend over yesterday. So my goal was to de-dog the house because Megan had turned the living room into her and the dog's bedroom / rec room / whatever. So there was socks all over the place and sweatpants and sweatshirts and just like teenager's bedroom. That was what my living room looked like. And so we went to Lowe's and got some special like scrubby broom thingy. And so I mopped, I scrubbied, I Swiffered, I put an air freshener in, I vacuumed 400 times, I threw a bunch of stuff away, threw a bunch of stuff in the laundry. And like now my living room, I walked down the steps this morning and I was like,
it doesn't smell like dog.
It doesn't smell like dog. And like you can see the floor and you can sit on the couch. And it was amazing. And then I just did some bills and stuff like that. So it was a productive day, but it was like definitely more chill because I'd already had it in my head that after dance we weren't going anywhere. And so that was what I did.
That's awesome.
Yep. How about you?
My son went back to school today. He actually just got there.
Aw. I'm glad that he's safe, but I'm sad for you.
I know. I can't, because then when he comes home for spring break, he comes home March 1st, but I start 9 days of travel on the 4th.
Oh.
So I'm not going to see him.
Yeah.
So that's going to stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't keep thinking about stuff because I'm like, but then he'll be home for the summer, but then that's also right before his senior year already.
Ouch.
How?
I don't know.
Our kids just graduated from high school. Like how?
Unfortunately, I know that's not true because now my other one's graduating from high school
this
year. So, but Emily took a little more time and is not quite so head on straight.
They all take their it's
as your son. No, I can say that. My daughter has.
They have to take their own time. They have to. At least she's not wasting money and time.
Exactly.
She's doing something.
She has her job and she's getting it figured out, which is way better than going away to an expensive school and failing out by doing things that are not healthy for you out there. So I'm not saying I'm a disappointment at all. I'm just saying the reality of it doesn't have to hit me as hard.
Right. Yeah.
Because she'll have another semester after your son is done.
Gotcha.
And she will still only have her associates then. So we're baby stepping it. You got like thrown right into it because your son did it the quote unquote proper way, which good for him because he's always known what he wanted to do. So there was no.
And I hired like basically a teenage life coach to, I don't want to say talk him out of it, but I didn't want it. We are of the generation where you went to school, you got the job, everything was great.
Right.
And not so much.
No.
And I still have student loans and it was the more education you have, the better your opportunities are going to be. And that's not what happened. And so many people our age are stuck in insane student loan debt because we weren't able to get, it's not that we weren't able to, the jobs didn't pay what we were basically led to believe. I remember when I graduated from college, and I don't know if I've ever said where I went, so I'm not going to now. It's a really good school. And I went to the business school. And at graduation, the provost gave us each like a Hot Wheels car that was like the top of the line car, like a Mercedes or a BMW or something like that, because that's what you're going to be able to drive with your education. No, dude, we can't. We can if we want to have a ton of bills every month. Right. We're not even going to get... Being in real estate has also opened my eyes to a lot of things that, like, basically for our parents or the people that were able to buy a house in the early 80s making $30,000 a year now have to make $140,000 a year. Right. To be able to afford, like, the bare minimum. Right. And it's insane. Like, the same, like, that's the, yeah. But income has not increased at the same rate. No. Okay, cool. Yep. Anyway, other than that, so he's back at school. And we had such a nice time while he was home, and we had some other stuff happening like in our personal life. So I think that it was like extra nice while he was home. So, and for the first time, I think since I started in real estate, it was slower. Like, this is the first time that I feel like I've actually experienced a real winter market. Because my first year was 2019 and I had my surgery in November, I intentionally stopped, like I intentionally slowed myself down. Mm-hmm. So that was to be expected. Right. This year, it seems a little bit more, but then it only lasted for like a little bit because interest rates have dropped now. So now we're back to woohoo! Yay! But then also one of the things on my 50 before 50 list was painting a Bob Ross painting. And my son is in school for animation, and my aunt is an amazing artist. And I happened to share that with them over, I think it was at Christmas. And my aunt was like, oh, that would be really cool. And I was like, would you guys do it? I just honestly assumed that I was going to wind up in my living room one day by myself doing it. And I was like, would you want to do one? She's like, yeah. And then I looked at my son. I was like, will you do one with me too? And so I was like, let's do it before he goes back to school. So Thursday night, before he went back to school, we did Distant Hills, which was season 3, episode 5 of Bob Ross, because it was labeled as one of the easiest ones to do. And I really, really, truly wish that I had taken more photos, because there were so many times where I thought I had made such a mess. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be absolutely horrible. And it wound up looking like that. Oh my God, that's beautiful. I was not. You're a liar. I don't. All right, just so everyone knows, Shannon is a liar when it comes to first they're laying down artistic. So I was like, guys, lay down the plastic so that we don't get anything. I was like, oh, guys. So when I gave it to my son, I was like, just go down there and give this to her and just lay it down like we're murdering someone. He's like, okay. Just no questions asked. The kid's just like, sure. Want me to get the saw from the... I'm like, lay it down American Psycho style. But like, that's how it started. And I really do wish, like, everything's a little bit darker than I wish it had. Oh, that's and then, like, beautiful. But like, I really thought that I had messed up in so many places. Like, my trees are... But then you just cover them up with leaves. That's amazing. I really should have taken more. That's amazing. The next one I do, maybe I'll do a video. That way you can tell you this, but you're a liar. I still don't feel like I'm a liar. You are a liar. But Bob Ross is an excellent teacher. Bob Ross is an excellent teacher. My dad used to love watching his painting show, but you are a liar. Just know that it does not take 27 minutes. It will take you 3 hours of pausing, rewinding. But you can get a lot of the supplies for fairly reasonably at Walmart. You don't necessarily have to buy the top of the line, whatever. And it was just really nice. The 3 of us just hung out. My son doesn't drink, but my aunt and I had some margaritas and just hung out and painted and made fun of each other and just had a really, really good time. So I got to cross that off my list too. That's awesome. So that was nice. Just because you shared a picture, Madeline and her friend did Let Me Do Your Makeup with My Eyes Shut. Okay. So this is each other's makeup. Hold it. They did each other's makeup with
Their eyes.
So if I was doing
shut
your
my
makeup,
eyes
I would be doing makeup on you with my
your
eyes shut. Oh.
So that
Well, to be fair, they got it kind of
right
close.
place. Madeline did start doing eyeliner.
It kind of look like they're carnivores.
Nose, but besides trying to eyeline her nose, I mean, they're pretty close to where it's supposed to be. Just,
I don't know if I would trust anybody with a pencil near my eyes with their eyes shut.
Yeah, and that's
well, good for them.
The fun of
that's
being
cute
11.
though. That is cute.
So
right, but yeah. So
I'm so happy for you. That is so cool. Again,
we can do it.
You need to post that picture so the rest of the world can see that I'm not just being
I posted it on my Facebook.
Not your Facebook, everybody. Like our Facebook. So everyone can comment, Amanda is right, Shannon is a liar.
I am pleasantly surprised with how it came out.
It's beautiful.
So, but I was so nervous because of who I was doing it with. And at first I was like, oh, this is great. And then I'm like, no, so my son tried to do his own version and it didn't come out quite the way that he wanted it to, but they're still drying too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we realized afterwards that we didn't do the whole, like, here's our class photo. But so now they're just all drying and like they're boxed up in a way after we did that. Yeah. So theirs are better than mine.
That's what I wanted to see. Like yours is really good. I want to see theirs. I'll be like, I'll pay you for theirs, man.
Right. But yeah, so
come cry with us on Thursday.
I know.
We're ending this.
I don't feel like we're going to cry anymore, though.
No, I'm not on Thursday. This is good, juicy stuff. Like, I don't want to give you a turn. I just want to read it all and be like, listen to this.
I was going to say, I'm like, you didn't send anything, did you? Okay. All right, so join us on Thursday as Amanda tells me all about 1977 to 89 Bobbie.
Yep. Have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier. Bye. Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.